There's no business like show business. The whole world loves a celebrity.
Not a drama, not a sex, and no.
Latching onto their every move, action and word.
What you say? What'd you say?
If something goes wrong, you're done.
Celebville is a paparazzi's paradise.
You think you have an alcohol problem?
And since movie stars were silent, stories have fallen off the shelves faster than gravity.
The press went, you're guilty.
Nowhere more so than when a celeb makes a catastrophic cock-up.
It went from being, is she mad, to, oh, this is really sad.
But tonight, the stars come out to celebrate their misdemeanors and their falls from grace.
She didn't say a thing. It was, like, frightening.
Coming up, Saved by the Bell star Screech opens up about his sex tape.
That's definitely one up there on my dumb list.
Former ITV news anchor Ed Mitchell talks candidly about hitting rock bottom.
I was left with no other option but to sleep rough.
And we've got the journalist who had a famous run-in with Björk.
And then she just jumps on me.
So roll up, frock up, grab yourself a glass of something bubbly and get ready for the close-up.
I think we should just call it a day and all be celebrities.
This is what happens when celebrity goes horribly wrong.
Björk is a very eccentric Icelandic pop star.
Incredibly famous in the 90s, and music's very strange, but I love it.
Fresh from winning Best International Female at the 1996 Brit Awards, Björk was flying high and was in Bangkok on tour. The local media were out in force, including music journalist Julie Kaufman.
I have an interview, exclusive. I was super excited, love Björk. We arrive at the airport and we were told that the interview was canceled. So respected that. We were there and my cameraman and my producer just decided to get some shots, you know.
She's an odd person anyway, Björk. But in this video, she looks especially unusual. She looks like the creepy girl from a horror film just moving through the airport, and you're thinking, don't anyone approach her because she looks on edge. And everything's quiet. We know she likes things quiet. It's oh so quiet. Shh. And then someone says,
Welcome to Bangkok. All I said was, welcome to Bangkok. That's all I said. Welcome to Bangkok. And then just jumps on me. She just grabbed my hair. She just beats the crap out of me.
Throwing lefts and rights and lefts as a Floyd Mayweather would be proud.
She doesn't say anything horrible to her. She just says, welcome to Bangkok.
When you're on the ground and and she was really quiet. There was like an eeriness about her and she didn't say a thing. And it was like that. Like, it was like frightening. Her bodyguards got her up, took her away from me, and whisked off into her bus. But then she had another moment where she was like gonna come back after me.
It was so surprising what Björk did because of her persona. We're used to seeing her as this kind of Icelandic, quite mystical kind of person who just seems to float through life with that really kind of delicate voice of hers. So to see this other side of her was bizarre.
As this was the last thing we're expecting from everyone's favourite Icelandic pop star, this fast became a huge international story. Fortunately for Björk, Julie Kaufman did not press charges.
No, I'm not going to sue her. I'm not out for revenge or money. It's not worth it.
No, file a claim. Were you injured at work? Yes, I was. And an Icelandic singer punched me for saying welcome to Thailand.
Welcome to Bangkok. the next day, I get a call from this eerie voice, and I knew it was her, but I thought it was a prank at first. It was, "Hello, is this the reporter that I attacked last night?" She apologized to me, and she said she was worried about her son. I just told her, "I forgive you," and then I said, "Go be a good mom," and I hung up on her. And my friends are like, "You hung up on Björk." I'm like, "Oh, who cares? She just attacked me on public television."
History is littered with infamous stories of child stars who struggled to maintain their fame into adulthood. Just ask Screech.
I'm Dustin Diamond, and I played Screech on Saved by the Bell since I was a fetus. I was 11 when I got the role of Screech, and I played that from 11 to 21.
Screech was just this lovable little lad in Saved by the Bell. Everyone loved him.
The idea behind the show was that it was a dream school that everyone wished they could go to. 260 episodes that I played, 2 TV movies, and it was a fantastic journey. It was a hell of an experience.
That experience should have netted Dustin a tidy sum, but when he turned 18, he discovered that only a fraction of his earnings remained.
When you're a child star, your parents get control of the money. So sometimes your parents spend it wisely, and sometimes they spend it foolishly.
In a recent Fox News interview, he blamed his parents for spending his money from 10 years as Screech.
Unfortunately for not every family, there's a rule book that shows here's what you do when your child is an international success and a world star. Here's what you do with the money. Most of that doesn't happen. Usually people just go, "Money!" and then it's gone. And they go, "I hope the kid can make more money." And then the kids grow up.
Now, all grown up, Saved by the Bell came to an end, and Dustin discovered the harsh realities of finding roles as an adult actor.
Dustin is definitely typecast as playing Screech.
Invariably, I'd get, "We loved it, but we saw too much Screech in it." And I go, "Oh, well, does that mean I didn't get the part?" And unfortunately, the character was so big that it kind of worked against me.
So many former child actors are bitter, and some are not. Some have gone on and done better things, and it's a rough thing.
With no major roles coming his way, his financial situation didn't improve, and in 2001, he was declared bankrupt. 12 years after the success of Saved by the Bell and acting jobs scarce, Dustin hatched a plan to make a quick quid.
Did I do a sex tape is the question. That's the question on everybody's minds.
When I heard that someone from Saved by the Bell had released a sex tape, I was thinking, okay, who is it?
It's the D-man here checking in with the brother of the bro.
Screech porn? No.
How could you do that, Screech?
Gentlemen, I have, as always, gone above and beyond the call of duty.
Original celebrity sex tape was probably Pamela Anderson, and it did really benefit it.
Kim Kardashian's had one of the most famous ones.
I am an opportunist. So my buddy and I are sitting in my living room, and Paris Hilton comes up on TV. And they say it was rumored that she had made $14 million off of her cut. Holy smokes, $14 million?
Whose are these?
My buddy said, "Damn, 14 million? Where's the Screech tape, buddy? You gotta be worth at least $1 million.
Come on, these aren't yours. Come on.
And I went, "You know, make some calls."
Let me see a titty.
Oh, no.
Come on,
I didn't even know you.
Just, you grew up with me, baby.
Something was odd about it. You know, what's odd about it, it was a stunt double. Yeah, right.
Baby, I want to make out.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You never saw me on naked on camera anywhere, ever. Come on, I grew up in front of TVs. I'm not that dumb.
Put the camera away.
Yeah.
Put it away.
Hold on, where's off?
This ring would never be on my hand if my woman had been told by all her friends, "Don't date him, he does porn." She's like, "No, he doesn't." Her parents were told, and I had to show her the footage that I still have that showed, you know, look, it's not really me. It's a stunt double.
I'm a lucky man.
It's camera trickery. You know, I was there. I hold the camera like this, then, you know, behind someone, and then when you turn it over, you face it towards you, and it looks like you're just turning it like this. It's 2 inches difference.
We will be back after these messages.
I think they called it Screeched. That wasn't up to me. They thought that was funny.
Instead of Screech, because Screech could go Saved by the Dick. Hey, that's a better one, isn't it? Shagged by the Bell.
Unfortunately, Dustin's money-making scheme didn't quite go to plan.
It paid well up front, but after time, that kind of lingered in the air like a bad fart.
But if he's making a sex tape, that man, who gives a shit?
I mean, you know, we've all done some dumb things. That's definitely one up there on my dumb list.
Oh.
It did not make $3 or $4 million. I want to point that out.
And in 2014, things didn't improve when Dustin found himself in court. Dustin told police he'd accidentally stabbed a man whilst defending his fiancée.
Dustin said the guy fell on his knife. The guy fell on my knife.
He made his name on Saved by the Bell. Sadly, there wasn't a bell in court, and he wound up with a 4-month prison sentence. Rock and roll was born in the 1950s. It was the decade that launched the careers of icons like Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, and this guy.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
Well, Jerry Lee Lewis was one of the 1950s biggest, most famous rock and roll stars.
In 1957, at the age of just 22, Lewis took the UK by storm. Within a year, he had 3 UK top 10 singles to his name, including the classic Great Balls of Fire, which reached #1. In May 1958, on a wave of excitement, Lewis arrived in the UK for a 27-date tour, which promised to be the biggest tour yet by an American star.
We got very excited here in England when he was coming to do a tour. And he arrived, got off the plane with this gorgeous young girl.
It transpired this young girl was his 3rd wife and first cousin once removed, Myra Brown.
People were like, that little girl's his wife? Scary.
And an English reporter said to her, "How old are you?" And she said, 15, thinking that was quite a respectable age, not realising that it was totally against the law to be married. It turned out, in fact, she wasn't 15, she was actually 13. The attitude towards him in this country went from being so excited, ecstatic that he was here, to actually thinking, pervert. And just to send the message home, good and proper, that we didn't want him here, his tour was cancelled.
The Lewises had to return to the US under a cloud of controversy.
Jerry, what about this reception in London? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. We had a very good reception, sir.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, we had a very nice time, and the people treated us real nice.
Well, the papers reported that you were greeted with silence over there and with catcalls from the audience. Is that right?
Well, I can't agree with them there, sir. Our audience was very nice.
When were you married?
Pardon?
When were you married?
Well, we leave our personal questions out of this, sir.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
His popularity took a hit. He was rarely played on the radio and went from playing $10,000 a night concerts to $100 bar gigs. Jerry Lee Lewis went from hero to zero in one choice of 13-year-old bride.
Great balls of fire.
Reality television has thrust countless civilians into the glamorous world of celebrity. 18 series of Big Brother have unleashed enough attention seekers to fill up the entire internet. And Big Brother 9 in 2008 launched one particular camera-hungry personality into the public eye.
Hi, my name's Lisa Appleton. I was in Big Brother 9, 2008, with my partner, Mario.
They were like a cheap Posh and Becks, weren't they? The Lidl version.
She clearly was a larger-than-life personality. Became quite well known that year.
I realised, you had to kind of, what's the word? Milk it! Milk it.
And that's when you enter into this relationship where you sell your soul to the paparazzi.
We did all these PAs and photo shoots and TV appearances.
But it wasn't long before it all went horribly wrong.
It kind of died a pretty fast death.
She had the shelf life of, I don't know, Tara Masalata. It was brief.
We didn't hear off the agents and all the promises of books, fitness DVDs and all this.
She really did have a fall from grace.
Nothing. That was it.
I mean, it probably wasn't that far to fall, but it was a small fall.
Ended up at rock bottom on benefits and lost everything. I had some really tough times.
What she lost included husband Mario. They split in 2013, but it seems Lisa wasn't prepared to accept she'd fallen off the celebrity bandwagon, and what followed was a desperate attempt to hold on to her fame, at whatever cost.
We started getting, in the Now office, these bizarre sets of paparazzi pictures through of her.
Eating fish and chips, being shat on by a seagull.
This is all a bit weird.
Every day she's in, like, the Daily Mail doing something ridiculous.
You just don't know to what extreme she's going to go.
Lisa decided that she needed to milk her moment in the sunshine by calling the paparazzi to capture her doing something glamorous, something seductive, something beguiling and aspirational. Putting out the bins. And what did she wear to do so? A very, very skimpy thong.
She's pulling these bins with all her might. I mean, she's got loads of rubbish in these bins. She's yanking them, and then she does a quick yank of the dressing gown up.
I wasn't initially aware that the paps were there, although I was meeting them and they happened to be there a little bit earlier. I saw a camera going off and I went a little bit having a laugh.
I mean, that's not a gust of wind catching that up, is it? That's a hand helping that along.
She wasn't satisfied with just going out once. It was almost like the videographer was like, no, we need to get that again, love. You didn't bend down enough. Ooh, who put that pebble amongst the pebbles? I better just bend down and pick it up again.
It was very important that pebble got moved right there because it was in the wrong place. She needs to come back out in her underwear. That pebble's urgent.
No pap is going to stand outside Lisa Appleton's house hoping she'll come outside in a thong, putting the bins away. That's a complete setup.
Whether the paps is arranged or not, I'm going to give them something to talk about.
Amazing. The absolute essence of desperate, clawing need to be in front of the camera.
It's a bit like in a Mexican wave. Once you start it, sort of, you enjoy it and you want to keep it going.
It's horrible, the desperation to be famous.
Obviously, she's got a plan, and it involves some kind of world domination of the Daily Mail.
But online readers were somewhat bemused by her current camera-hungry exploits.
It's just like watching a crazy person.
Work those curves.
The woman is just atrocious, but TV gold.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
To the general public, the life of celebrity can seem like one great big glamorous shindig. From award ceremonies, to premieres, to the after-show parties, celebs are living the dream. Sadly, the excesses of this glitzy lifestyle can make it all go horribly wrong. In 2011, a new breed of upper-class reality show hit the TV screens.
Made in Chelsea and Me, it's like, it just shows all the posh kids in London, doesn't it? Just having a laugh.
Nearly 1 million viewers tune into E4 to watch the exploits of the Made in Chelsea gang, making stars of Spencer, Jamie, Stephanie and the rest of the Sloane Rangers.
Made in Chelsea, of course, shows a very glamorous, decadent life.
Made in Chelsea is the only one I watch because I like posh birds. I like birds who are like, oh, Scotty, fuck me.
And to Scotty's delight, in 2016, a new rising star joined the cast.
Now, Olivia Bentley, beautiful girl, stunning, great opportunity, the most wanted show to be on.
Here was someone who on TV was living this incredible life of expensive holidays and nights out that cost more money than we all earn in a year.
We get up to mischief and a lot of drama, a lot of sex, and not for me.
When you are impressionable on a teenage audience, such as she was on Made in Chelsea, you have to take responsibility for your actions.
As soon as she signed up for the TV show. There are certain things you cannot do in your life.
There's loads of those Sloaney girls who are walking around the King's Road. They're waiting for Olivia to balls up, and she did.
In November 2016, a video emerged of Olivia enjoying herself at a party.
I'm on a TV show, and so people write all the time.
You are?
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand.
The Sun ran this scoop as a video exclusive.
When you get pictures of a celebrity allegedly snorting cocaine, obviously it is like media gold. It's really shocking, and it's just downright nasty and grim.
And the person that took this video knew exactly what angle, it was clear footage.
I'm on a TV show, and so people write all the time.
You are?
Someone videoing her purposely asking her questions while she's doing lines. Like, and that's meant to be one of her friends as well. That's the worst thing.
Olivia Bentley should have known better. She doesn't know these people.
Such a stupid thing to do. I mean, everybody's got cameras on their phones these days.
Bang to rights, she couldn't get out of this one. There was no, PR that could wrangle their way out of this.
Although Olivia didn't face any charges over the incident, Made in Chelsea producers suspended her from the show.
It's one of them ways that you put your hands up being caught. Like, that's it, so you gotta get suspended.
She fell at an alarmingly early hurdle. It's very rare for someone to be so new on a show and then this to happen so quickly.
The naivety blows my mind. I thought she was educated.
To see something like this, you kind of think, of course, that's the actual price of decadence. That's what's really going on here.
You just shouldn't be making those kind of decisions when you've got so much going for you.
In a career spanning almost 20 years, Britney Spears is one of the most successful pop stars ever. She sold over 70 million records, won countless awards, including a Grammy, and is one of the internet's most searched celebrities of all time.
Britney Spears is the ultimate pop princess. She was the darling of the music industry. Squeaky clean Britney could do no wrong.
By the time she gets to 16, she becomes this huge star with this song, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
She became the most popular kind of singer in the world.
She was the new Madonna. You know, she was the new pop sensation, the new pop princess.
I think she's been going since she was 7 or 8 years of age. It's non-stop for her, the press, the media attention, and I just think she's just a human being and just has an absolute meltdown.
Britney Spears, wow. What happened to her? What went wrong?
Towards the end of 2006, she went through a messy divorce and custody battle with Kevin Federline, K-Fed, a dancer she'd married 2 years previously. And the tabloids couldn't get enough of it. Her rocky private life was laid bare in the media, and she had nowhere to hide.
Something went terribly wrong. 2007, she was in a terrible custody battle with her ex-husband. She was getting divorced, and it was played out in front of everyone. And this girl, you just saw the meltdown of Britney Spears in front of the whole entire world.
The pressure, I mean, just imagine having that pressure on you. I mean, very few people could understand what that was like.
I think it was only a matter of time before she snapped.
Spears showed up at a San Fernando Valley salon requesting the hairless do. The salon owner said she tried to talk her out of it, but Spears insisted on shaving her head.
I was at Heat magazine at the time, and we'd gone through this era where celebrity was fun. And then suddenly, you got Britney very troubled, shaves her hair off, and it all becomes very, very dark.
You know what? This world sucks. And it's just gone.
It was a real end of innocence, actually.
Britney, why you cut your hair like that?
She wanted to be a new person. Take my hair, take me, take everything.
But Britney was only just getting started. Later that night, she headed straight to a tattoo parlor for some impromptu body art.
Oh my God! She's completely bald.
That gorgeous girl shaving off her gorgeous hair. It was such a tragic disaster. I'm getting tormented just thinking about it. Thank God it grew back.
Hi, Britney.
Hey, Britney.
And that was the biggest cry for help. She needed a big hug and a help and a wig.
Britney's uncharacteristic public display made a compelling story for the press and fanned the flames even further.
Later on, her relationship with the press and the paparazzi had gone to an all-time low. She jumps out of her car and she hits them with an umbrella. She is wild.
No, guys, please, guys, don't do this. No.
There must have been some real serious issues behind closed doors to make her act that way.
Oh, wow, she did that too? This?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It went from being, oh, is she mad, to, oh, this is really sad.
Yeah, that's where she got you an umbrella? Yeah.
In the months that followed, she gave a disastrous performance at the VMAs and lost custody of her kids and was sectioned over concerns for her mental health. Although thankfully Britney made a full recovery and enjoyed massive chart success since those dark days, it seems the press and paps are still waiting in the wings to pounce at the first sign of a relapse.
It's kind of hard once you have that meltdown to kind of get back grounded. You almost need to just stay out of the limelight.
And there's still a sense, isn't there, that she's just a little frazzled. Something went wrong in those years that hasn't really righted itself, and she'll never be the same again.
I can still see the cracks, although the makeup is flawless, but I still see the cracks.
She is a real victim of the world of celebrity.
Celebrity doesn't just go wrong for TV personalities and film stars. Serious news journalists can also suffer the pressures that fame brings.
I'm Ed Mitchell. I have been a journalist, a broadcast journalist, radio and television for over 40 years now.
The stock market crash may have produced its casualties, and it might be a dull day here in the city, but this whole episode does have its brighter side.
I had a great career on TV every day, particularly during, say, the crash of '87, led the 10 o'clock news every single night for a whole month.
Ed was a rising star as a news journalist in the early 1990s. By the end of the decade, he'd moved on from ITN, accepting a lucrative contract to present for the European Business Channel, based in Switzerland.
One stage in my career, I was living by the lakeside in Switzerland, by Zurich, in one of the wealthiest villages you could possibly imagine, earning well in excess of 100,000 a year. It really was the good life. It began to crumble at a certain stage.
In 2000, Ed's high life in Switzerland came crashing down when he and 120 of his colleagues were made redundant.
We were all summarily dismissed and had to leave the country. A sudden fall from all that income, all that high life, back to a Britain that was then in recession. It was a question of struggling from one job to another to try and keep the family going. And that's actually when the debts begin to mount, and also when my drinking began to increase. The irony is, of course, I'm a business and financial journalist, and I was getting the finances terribly wrong and keeping it secret. My wife didn't know at the time just how badly the debt was building up. So I was using credit cards to pay the mortgage.
Losing the thread here.
As his financial worries increased, so did his drinking, which in turn affected his work.
Oh, right. That's completely wrong.
Drinking bottles of vodka before 11 a.m. Massive unsustainable debt. It all came to a point where it just fell apart.
In 2005, Ed and his wife divorced.
I don't blame her, given what was happening.
On top of that, he was declared bankrupt in 2007. By this time, he'd left the family home.
I sort of sofa surfed for a while, but who wants a drunk, penniless man around? You don't want a person like that in your spare bedroom, do you, really? So I actually had to go into a male sort of hostel.
Things got even worse. Ed's secret drinking broke the hostel's no alcohol rule, and he was asked to leave.
I was left with no other option but to sleep rough. I was so ashamed, so embarrassed, that I wanted to be as secret and as reclusive as possible. I just did not want anyone to see me in case they recognized me from television. So it was all about woolly hats and sleeping in dark corners. It was a horrific time. There was a lot of time to think about where had I gone wrong. It's a question that I kept running over in my mind. And it was made even more acute by the fact that I was homeless in the area where I used to live. The house that I used to own was only about 500 yards down the road. And occasionally I'd walk past and almost press my nose up against the window and see warmth and comfort and a roaring log fire and think, I had that. The one thing, though, that I always felt was I have only myself to blame. It was the sum total of lots of wrong decisions, most of them influenced by alcohol. The turnaround came when I was visited during the night by a Christian charity that wanted to talk about Jesus and hand out sandwiches. And one of them recognized me from television, and he also worked for the Brighton Evening Argus. And he said, would it be all right if we did an interview about what you've come to? The interview appeared in the local newspaper, and they made it a front page splash. All the national newspapers picked up on it. It just completely took off as a riches to rags story. It was bizarre. And I was getting offers for all manner of things as well. An offer for a documentary, a book, offers for jobs, offers for people to take me in. It was overwhelming. Such a stark contrast to the way I'd been spending the months before. It was bizarre, but it got me out of it. It's coming up now to 10 years ago. The big plus is I'm here talking about it and I feel healthy and good. But I'm deeply aware that the temptation for alcohol never really entirely goes away. It's such a peculiar, mysterious thing that I know will, for all my life, lurk out there with the potential to drag me back down. The one thing I'll never do, though, is ever, ever go back to a park bench.
As a celebrity, you're constantly judged on how you look.
I think it's very important to look good when you're a celebrity. I think that people are looking up to you and they're aspiring to be like you.
I think it's really important for celebrities to create an image.
The newspapers are taking pictures of you. A lot of focus on their hair, their makeup, their bodies.
Even if you're middle-aged like me, I'm near the 50, you still got to be sexy, which I am.
You have to stay ageless until you drop dead, like Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Sometimes looking bad is what is going to get you the headlines.
That moment where it all goes a bit Pete Tong.
It's the money shot the paparazzi are always hunting for, and in return for column inches, some celebs are happy to provide the goods. Take Real Housewife Joanna Krupa.
The Real Housewives of Miami, of Beverly Hills, of Orange County are huge stars. Ridiculously rich and glamorous and bitchy and mean. Joanna is a particularly pretty one. She gets a lot of tabloid attention for being a very beautiful woman, and she laps that up. She's out to dinner with her husband in Beverly Hills, and as they leave the restaurant, there's paparazzis outside. She's super friendly with them. She poses for them. She's wearing a top that's pretty much sheer. And you can almost hear the paparazzi guys rubbing their hands.
I got a beautiful smile here. Huh? Beautiful smile.
Those flashes on those cameras pop.
Thank you.
Yes. Are you aware your shirt was secret? Do what?
Your shirt was secret.
Is it? Oh. Ooh, have I shown my neck? Did I? Ooh. You can look, but you can't touch.
She wasn't embarrassed at all. She was like, you can look, but you can't touch. And I was like, okay, so I think she just didn't care.
Your shirt was secret.
Is it? Oh.
What a mistake. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Your shirt was secret.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, right.
In the 80s and 90s, when supermodels rose to fame, one mighty man stood head and shoulders above all others. This guy.
Who doesn't know Fabio?
Fabio has been one of the most successful male models of all time.
Fabio was the man. He is big stuff. He is the supermodel. He was on the front of every cover.
Big hunk of a chap from Italy who found fame in the 80s and 90s, appearing in countless commercials.
Fabio was, you know, he was the can't believe it's not butter guy.
He had the most ridiculous big hair, but he had a face that looked like it had been carved out of granite.
He's buff, he's got beautiful blonde hair, he's amazing, you know, chest and presence.
Fabio is Mr. Mills and Boone, and he's all like flowing hair and romantic novels.
Riding a horse shirtless. I am He-Man, you know, look at my pecs.
But back in 1999, everything went embarrassingly wrong for Fabulous Fabio.
He is asked, as a VIP back in the 90s, to open a new ride at a new theme park in Virginia.
Who better to open your brand new roller coaster, the Apollo Chariot, than Fabio?
He's in the front row of the roller coaster. They're all taking their pictures. His hair is all flowing and nice, and Fabio flowing.
It's Fabio, the supermodel.
He's surrounded by VIPs and guests. American media are watching, of course, cameras, TV crews, and the roller coaster sets off.
Almost in slow motion with his hair flowing, you think, there goes Fabio.
Fabio goes off on this ride.
Unfortunately, I think it's before mobile phone mania. We don't see the moment it happens, but he comes down the other side.
Everyone is waiting to get Fabio's reaction to this brand new ride. It's a massive moment for this theme park. The media, the paparazzi, the camera crews are waiting.
Fabio, not even a hair out of place, but Fabio is covered in blood.
All over his face, blood everywhere. Apparently, as they hit the apex of the ride, a goose flew straight to his face.
I think the bird probably got lost in his eyes and just poof.
It's not even a little sparrow, it's a goose. Now that's gonna hurt. And yet all he's worried about still is his hair, and he's just trying to keep his composure.
It looks like the Red Sea is pouring out of your face. There's probably bone exposed, and he's trying to style it out.
Poor Fabio. His face is his fortune.
Unfortunately for Fabio, he couldn't avoid the goose or the subsequent embarrassment.
It's quite a nice thought that the last thing that this poor little bird saw was the sexiest heartthrob of the 80s.
Being famous for being famous is a relatively recent phenomenon. But in 1980s LA, long before the internet gave the fame-hungry a platform for self-promotion, there was one determined woman who used an audacious method to get her face out there.
I'm known only for my persona.
Is she a sword swallower? That would explain why she's famous.
I like being known for my persona rather than for something I do. I think it's more empowering for me to be known for my persona. Ooh.
Angeline is famous for no reason.
I have all kinds of Angeline merchandise and memorabilia.
She sells her T-shirts in front of the coffee bean.
I have T-shirts, posters, pictures, bumper stickers, records, keychains, dog tags, everything.
You gotta hand it to this woman. She's a one-woman merchandising show.
They love my T-shirts, so when they see me, they stop me. They're dying for a T-shirt. They're dying to get a picture with me.
Angeline sells stuff from her car as memorabilia. What are we remembering? Remember that time I saw some girl hawking stuff out of her trunk?
Angeline is famous because she's still around. She's flashing it with the pink and the pink Corvette and the pink fan hiding half her face. You know, the part that can't be lifted and tucked and replaced and removed and stuck back on, that part.
I have a fan over my face because it's $10,000 to do it without it.
Crazy.
But this fan can be more trouble than it's worth, literally.
Hello, beautiful.
As we can see here, as she hid her face from the Paps in 2013.
How are you?
Oh, shit! Thanks a lot.
You okay?
That's your damn fault.
Angeline had a fan over her face to stop the paparazzi from taking photos from her. She didn't want them to see her face. But if they can't see her face can't see the big curb in front of her.
Oh, shit! Thanks a lot.
You okay?
That's your damn fault.
She just lashes out, doesn't she? It's like a kid when a kid falls over. It's your fault.
Are you okay? You okay?
Stop it, damn it.
I'm not here to look down upon people, but I hope I never end up like that.
I just do whatever I feel like doing, and it seems to come out very successfully all the time.
Back in the 1920s, the silent movie stars were kings of celebrity, and the biggest of them all was this man, Fatty Arbuckle, whose celebrity went horribly wrong with Hollywood's very first scandal.
Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle was, at the time, Hollywood's biggest comedy star.
He was huge and became bigger and bigger status-wise, and then signed $1 million contract, which by today's standards is huge. I mean, he was the biggest movie star and at the height of his fame.
Fatty Arbuckle was a fat male comic in silent film in Hollywood.
The name Fatty was very much because he was a stocky man, let's say. Some people say 270 pounds he weighed. But he was an incredibly athletic and lithe man. The stunts that he do, it's him doing all that, falling off buildings, going through walls. So he was tremendously active, and you could see that it was him on screen all the time.
He was the first comedy star, silent comedy star, to get a pie in the face.
He was essentially a slapstick comedian.
He was teamed up with Charlie Chaplin, and then with Buster Keaton, who was a writer on his films.
Before Keaton and Chaplin were big, they were like his straight men or his stooges in his films. In 1921, he was almost the biggest name in Hollywood, certainly the most well-known screen comedian. Everything was going swimmingly until Labor Day 1921, where he attends a party in the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. This party includes booze, which is illegal at the time due to prohibition, and lots of women, normally aspiring young actresses who want to get into the business. One of those actresses was one Virginia Rapay, who had appeared in a couple of bit parts in some silent movies. And during the course of this party, an incident occurs with her and Arbuckle in Arbuckle's bedroom, to which the party burst into and find Rapay in a state of severe distress. Arbuckle leaves the party. 3 days later, Rapay is taken to hospital, where she dies from a burst bladder, which has led to peritonitis.
Immediately, the press went, "You're guilty, you did it."
There is a media frenzy around this, and it's also very much a very sort of moralistic, religious fervour in certain parts of America. Exactly the thing that's led to prohibition. The studio almost disown Arbuckle, and he's pretty much left on his own. Probably the first time something like this has happened on such a scale. Someone who's globally well known, who is charged with manslaughter, is taken to trial in San Francisco. There are actually 3 trials, the first 2 which are declared mistrials.
On the third trial, it was thrown out of court within 6 minutes. It was like, this is a nonsense. None of the evidence stacks up. You're free.
He was acquitted, but his career didn't recover ever after that.
We shouldn't forget, a woman has died in all of this. Rapay is dead, and there still isn't an adequate explanation as to why she died. Arbuckle, though, is left with no contract. All of his films have been pulled from public circulation now. Literally nobody wants to employ him. He had to do pickup jobs for nearly 10 years, working as a scriptwriter and a director, but never having his name on the credits.
But it wasn't until 1932 that Warner Brothers finally gave him a chance.
He had a part in a sound movie. They liked what they saw, and they signed him back up on a new contract. The day that he signs the contract, He goes out for a meal with his new wife, and he's alleged to have said this is the happiest day of his life. Finally, he's put all of this behind him, and he goes home that night, and he passes away in his sleep with a heart failure. People know Chaplin, they know Keaton, and it's quite sad that a comedy genius like Arbuckle, his entire body of work, to most people has been completely forgotten because of scandal. And that scandal seemed to be unfounded.